This Walmart amplifier started smoking less than 24 hours than when I got it, but should you still get it? So whenever I was looking for a new amplifier, I came across this power acoustic amplifier, and the reason it caught my eye is because for one, the price was good for the power that I was getting, and I was also able to pick it up on my local Walmart, so I didn't have to wait for shipping. So on the Walmart website, they advertised this as a 2 ohm stable amplifier, and I think it said it was good for about 650 RMS, and for the price it wasn't too bad, so I decided to go pick it up. But whenever I saw it in store, it was actually better than what they advertise online, as they advertise it as a 1 ohm stable amplifier, but now at 1 ohm it's actually able to output 900 watts RMS. So I thought it was a good deal, so I decided to pick it up. And whenever I unboxed it and then I set it up, I actually was pretty surprised about the build quality because it honestly doesn't feel too bad, and the bass knob does feel pretty good too. And whenever I connected it to my subwoofer, it definitely had my subwoofer bumping, and it definitely added some extra power to it. So some things that I really liked about it is the bass knob, because the bass knob is actually a really good length. I know it has to be long because most people are going to be using this inside of a car, but I do feel like that they do give you a bit of extra length, so the length of the bass knob is definitely good. But the bass knob also doesn't feel too bad either. It actually feels pretty good, and no matter if I'm turning up the bass or turning down the bass, I don't hear any noise when doing so, so that's definitely a plus. But also a big reason why I even got this amplifier is because the subsonic filter goes down to 10 hertz, and I kind of needed an amplifier that had a low subsonic filter, because one of the amplifiers that I do have, which is my kicker amplifier, the subsonic filter only goes down to 25 hertz. But one of the main reasons why I even got an 18-inch sub is so I can play the infrasonic lows. But if I have a decently high subsonic filter, then I'm not really going to be able to play that low, so that's one big reason why I picked up this amplifier. But I also like that the low pass filter goes down to 35 hertz, because let's say I decide to use 2 subwoofers in my system, then I could use this amplifier for my super deep low playing sub, and I could set the low pass filter to 35. Now, some things that I don't like about it are the terminals for the power and the speaker wires. And the first reason is because I wish they did allow you to put bigger wires into it, because for my setup, I did kind of have to squeeze the power wires into it, and it definitely was a tight fit. So I feel like if they made it a bit bigger to allow some bigger wires, that definitely would improve it. But I also just don't like how the screws clamp onto the wires, because my kicker amplifier definitely has a better clamp on it, but the power acoustic amplifier, it's honestly kind of tricky just clamping down on the wires, because sometimes you might think that you're clamping the wires down, but then one wire will end up not being clamped, and then it'll end up coming out, and sometimes that can be pretty annoying, and I never really had that problem with the kicker amplifier. I also do wish that this amp had a phase dial. This isn't the biggest deal ever, but a phase dial or a phase switch definitely would be nice. And I also wish that the bass knob had a clip light. This also isn't the biggest deal ever, as if you just set up your amplifier right, then you should be good, but a clip light would be nice to have too. Now, there are a lot of good things about this amplifier, but I did say at the beginning of this video that this amplifier did smoke. So what caused that? So I remember turning on my amplifier, and I wasn't even playing any kind of music. I was looking for a song to play. All of a sudden I hear a sound from my amplifier, and I turn my head and I just see a bunch of smoke pouring out from it. And so I run over to the amplifier and I unplug the power supply, and I'm just trying to see if the smoke is going to turn into a fire, because my amplifier was mounted onto my wall, but the smoke did disappear and it didn't cause a fire. And I started to smell this bad capacitor smell, and I was kind of freaking out because I had no idea why this just happened. So I started to look at everything. I looked at all the wires that was powering the amplifier. I looked at the RCAs. I even looked at the wires for the line out converter. But the only thing that I can think of is that the left RCA cable for my line out converter was actually connected to the right side of my amplifier. I don't really know why this would cause a problem and cause my amplifier to smoke, but I'm not even sure if that was actually the problem, but that was the only problem that I could think of, because all the other wires were connected properly. I'm not sure why it caused my amplifier to smoke and possibly even catch fire, so I ended up returning the amplifier to Walmart, and I did pick up a replacement. I also was too afraid of trying to power that amplifier back up and seeing if it would still work, as right before I unplugged it, I did look at the amplifier and it never went into protect. The green light was on constantly up until I unplugged it. I'm almost positive that what caused that smoke was a capacitor, but I'm just not totally sure what happened, as my replacement amplifier has been working perfectly fine, and it's only been getting like a little bit warm, and it hasn't smoked or anything, and I've really had no problems with it. But would I still recommend this amplifier? Well, the answer is yes, because my new amplifier is working perfectly fine. I've had 0 problems with it, so as long as you connect all the wires to it correctly, this amplifier is going to work great. If you guys ever had any problems with your car audio amplifier, let me know down below in the comments, as I'm kind of curious. I appreciate all y'all for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something new today, and I'll see you on the next video.